Okay, so let's get into the lesson. So what do we see here? A forest, a mountain. Mountains, great. Yes. Why do you think it's a mountain? Why do you think this one is on a mountain? Or if someone says a jungle, okay. Why do you think it might be a mountain? Why do you think it might be a jungle? The trees, there are a lot of trees, that's true. Okay. It's going up here, there's a slope. So maybe that's why you think it's a mountain. Cool, nice. Yeah, now with this one, I mean, if we're in a forest and it's mountains, it could be a tropical forest, or it could be like a rainforest, or it could be like a cooler forest. So what do you think about this one? What type of forest do you think this one is? Is it a cooler forest or is it a warmer forest? What do you think? Okay, so the question is, why do you think it's warmer or cooler? So maybe some of you think it's that way because maybe the type of tree or the undergrowth, the plants near the ground. The trees seem to be pines. Okay, yeah, okay. Interesting, right? Well, let's take a look at the rest of the photo here. Okay, so we've got this path or this bridge or something, but let's take a look. If we go this way, oh, what's happening here? What's going on here? What do we see in the picture now? It's like is it a ramp? Yeah. Or if I zoom out a little bit more, here we go. Something like that. Yeah, some sort of course, right? He's riding along a section of this wooden kind of pathway that's a little bit crazy, right? Why is he doing this? What is going on? What's going on? A trail for bikers? Maybe. Okay, maybe. A bike trail. Extreme sports, or someone says fun. Okay, yeah. So looks like an extreme sport, right? I mean, you know as an adult what an extreme sport is. Kids might not, right? If we're teaching this to kids. These students doing this lesson might be 10 or 11 years old, perhaps, right? So maybe they don't know the idea. Do you think he's just having fun or is he racing? Is he having fun or is he trying to go fast? What do you think? Maybe having fun? Okay, maybe racing? Okay. Yeah, I don't know, like we're not sure, right? It's a little hard to tell. But let's see, is this crazy and dangerous or is this like safe? What do you think? Does this look dangerous or does it look safe? Pretty dangerous, says Ardelia. Kind of dangerous. Okay. Why do you think so? Why do you think? Unwise. Okay. It's a good word. Yeah, it's very, very steep, right? It's very banked, as we would say in English. Yeah, so, but he can go fast around the corner because it's like that, right? Yeah. So if it's a little bit dangerous, maybe, what is he wearing to help him stay safe? What is he wearing? Safety gear, right? Yeah, he's got a helmet. What else does he have? What else does he have? Yeah, I think maybe it's a little hard to tell, but it looks like here he might have a knee pad. Yeah, maybe, right? But he doesn't have elbow pads, does he? He doesn't have shoulder pads. So he doesn't have big boots or long trousers like you might see for some safety gear, right? So looks like he's just, yeah, racing and wearing a little bit of safety gear. But I'd be worried. Would you like to do this? This is a little crazy, right? So if we zoom back out here, see the whole picture, right? We can see that this is in a place called Roberts Creek in Canada, British Columbia in Canada. And yeah, he's doing some sort of sport here, but going around that corner, wow, that's difficult, okay? There is some science here. So today we're going to talk about the science of fun, okay? And how science helps us understand the fun things we do, okay? So let's look at the questions at the bottom. Number one, what is he doing? So he's riding his bike. We figured that out. Is it easy? I think maybe we decided it's not so easy. What special clothes is he wearing? So we already said he's wearing helmet and knee pads. Now, can you think of a caption for the photo? A short sentence or phrase we can say about the photo. So if I zoom back out again, what phrase could we say for this photo? In the chat box, can you tell me what phrase you think? Let's see what you think here. Bicycling 101, the banking of curves. Okay, nice. That sounds like a very science-related caption, right? Nice job, Marvin. Any others? Love my curves. Okay, that's nice. Overcoming force. Ah, we've got the jumpy bike. Nice, cool. A daredevil's first attempt. Okay, what happens a little bit later? Does he crash? Fun in the woods. Nice. The thrill and fun of adventure. How far can you go? Forces come through. Nice. Okay, we got some good captions here that we could put on this picture. So for our students, if we were doing this with them, they probably can't use complicated words, but they could still make some interesting captions, right? To go with this picture, right? You only live once, make it fun. YOLO, right? You only live once. Very true. Okay, well, what we're going to do today, it says here in this unit, we will identify how we use force to move, use the more blah, blah, blah to describe cause and effect, understand and make definitions, and write about cause and effect. Now, in what we're going to do today, we have a limited time. We're going to look at the vocabulary a little bit and the grammar a little, and then we're going to look at the reading and the mission that goes along with it as well. Okay, those are the 4 things we'll look at more today. Okay. So let's jump and look at the vocabulary. Now, because this particular level is for students a little bit older, it's level 4 of the OWL program, the students have moved beyond the phase of learning to read, okay? Around the middle of elementary school, we move from learning to read and we change to reading to learn. So here you can see the vocabulary. It's not just words and pictures. It's actually a short reading where we learn about the words that we're going to need. Okay, so all the bold words here are new. Okay, so let's quickly look through this. Now, with my students in a class, maybe we'd have more backwards and forwards, but let's see, what can we see in the text here? So it says, we use force to move. Force happens when we push or pull. Okay, so if we push, that is a force, and if we pull, that is a force. Okay, so force is 2 things. It's either a push or a pull. Okay, force happens when we push or pull. Okay, so they go together, right? Okay, so like what happens if I eat a lot of food? Well, then I get fat or I get sick, right? So that's what happens. Okay, let's see, what's the next piece here? Do you push or pull when you move on a swing? So have you been on a swing? If you think about how you move on a swing, right? You're at the top, you go down, then you go up, and then you come back down and go back, and then you do this, right? Okay, do you push or pull on a swing? You push and pull, right? Yeah, so when you go down, you kind of push, right? Push yourself down to go faster. And then when it's going up, you pull yourself up so that when you go back down, you go fast again, right? So on a swing, we push and we pull, right? Yeah, so we do both. Okay, now look at this skier. Ah, here we go. We've got a skier here. You just zoom out a little so we can see him. Okay, the skier, to move, a skier pushes on the snow. A push can move a skier forward. It can move a skier backward. Okay, so how does the skier push? Do they push with their feet? Do they use their feet to push when they're skiing? What do you think? Do they use their feet to push? What do we think? In the chat box, let me know. So Arlene says, no, we use ski poles, right? We use the sticks, right? The things in the hands, exactly, right? So we use this one, we push with the skis, with the poles, and that moves us forward. And if we want to go backwards, we can push that way, push like this, and it will move us backwards, okay? So we push one way, we go the other way, okay? If we push backwards, we go forwards. If we push forwards, we go backwards, okay? Is that like walking? Is that like walking? When you walk, what do your feet do? when you walk? What do your feet do? If you think about your walking, right? How do your feet do things, right? So what you do is you push back with your feet. You push your foot backwards and then you move forwards, right? Okay, so that's how we walk too. We push to walk. Okay, let's go on to the next piece. So we've already seen, let's just review our words quickly. So we've got force, which is a push and a pull. We've got it happens, okay? We've got swing, okay? And then we've got forwards and backwards. Okay, great. Let's see what the next ones are. Okay, now we've got some skaters up here. These are ice skaters, right? Skaters pull too. Look at these skaters. The more one skater pulls, the more they spin. Oh, that's interesting. So here, we've got the hands are joined, right? And so when one person pulls, they pull the other one as well, right? They both pull together, okay? They pull together, okay? So when one skater pulls harder, that means two pull harder, and then they spin faster. Oh, okay. So if you want to spin fast, you pull hard, right? The more one skater pulls, the more they spin, okay? The skaters don't fall over because they know how to balance. What is balance? So balance is like if you stand on one foot, right? And then you balance, okay? And you don't fall over, right? Yeah, okay, good. Okay, now, how do skaters stop? They use force. Now, what is a force? A force is a push or a pull. So what do? Skaters push down hard on their skates. Okay, so their skate is here, and they push down hard on the ice. The skates connect with the ice. They touch the ice. The ice and skates rub together. When two things rub together, it's called friction. Oh, okay. So let's see, friction. Friction. Let's take your hands, right? And if you rub them together, you can hear it, right? You can hear it. And that is, the sound comes from friction, okay? So what happens if you rub them faster, right? Do your hands get warm when you rub them faster? Yeah. So you rub a little bit, okay? You rub it faster and it's warmer, right? So rub fast, rub fast, rub fast, okay? Feels a little warm, okay? But then what about if you push hard, and then you rub, go, push hard and rub, push hard and rub. Ooh, ow, does that get warm? It gets warm a lot faster, right? So when we push hard, there is more friction. So the harder we push, the more friction there is, okay? The harder we push, the more friction there is. And that's what makes you slow down. Okay, now let's see. They are skaters on ice. Skaters on ice, or the skier on the snow, right? So friction, let's think about friction a little. So I have something here. I have a piece of plastic, okay? This is plastic, okay? And I have something else which is plastic as well, plastic pen, right? So if I move these together, do you think this is a lot of friction or only a little? What do you think? Is this a lot or only a little friction for this one? So this one is only a little, right? Okay, let's see. And then what about a different one? What about, I've got my mask here. I'm being safe. I have my mask, right? So this is cloth, okay? And I have something else which is cloth as well. Now, if I put them together, is that a little friction or a lot of friction? What do you think? A little or a lot? So these two. You think a little? Actually, this one is more. This one is a lot of friction, okay? Let me show you, right? So if I take my plastic, right? And I take my pen, plastic pen, and I put them on each other like that, and I let it go, it will slide off, right? It will just, it's only a little angle, it's only a little, right? And it will slide off like that, okay? Because there is little friction, only a little. But if I take this cloth, same angle, okay? I take my mask and I put it on there, it doesn't slide, right? Okay, and in fact, I can tip it more. Oops, hard to see. I can tip it more and more and more. It's still not sliding. See, I'm tipping it so far, it's not sliding because there's a lot of friction, okay? More and more and more and more, wow. and then eventually it will fall off, right? But yeah, friction stops you, right? Friction stops you or makes it hard to move, okay? Cool. Wow, so we have a lot of different things here. Gravity, we're going to talk about gravity in a minute, right? But let's go back, let's look at our words really quickly. So we had force, okay? What happens, okay? Push and pull, okay? Swing. Forward and backward, right? And then over here we had skaters, okay? Spin, okay? Fall over, okay? And balance, so we don't fall over, balance, okay? Push down, so we connect, okay? And then we rub, and then there's friction. Okay, so we had a lot of words there. Now, in the chat box, let me zoom out so you can see them all. In the chat box, could you make a sentence that uses 2 words or more? Don't just copy one. Don't just copy a sentence. Can you make a sentence? Can you make a sentence that has 2 words or more inside? Marilyn will help you with that one later. It's okay. Okay, so can you make a sentence with 2 words? Let's see what you can do. I'm watching the chat box. That's why I'm looking down in the corner here. The more he pushes, the higher he goes. Oh, okay, cool. Did we have high? We had pushes, right? We had push. That's good. Yeah. Or we could say the more he pushes, the more he goes forward. That would also work. Any others? Actually, a few of you still need to change your chat options, right? That's okay. Any more? What else do we have? You guys are a bit sleepy today. You don't want to type. There we go, there's one. The more force you use, the more you overcome gravity. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. When 2 people pull in different directions, they are balanced. Yeah, so I pull, you pull, and we are balanced. We don't go anywhere. That's true. To push backward is to pull forward. Let's think. If you push backwards, is that the same as pulling forwards? Well, if you think, if I have a rope, imagine this is a rope, right? Okay. If I pull on the rope, then I go forward. Okay. Once the rope gets past me, then if I push on the rope, if it's tied to something at the front, if I push on the rope, then I will still go forward. So if I pull, I go forward. If I push, I go forward. How does that work? Right? So, to push backwards is to pull forwards. Maybe not quite the same, right? Interesting, right? Okay, someone's a physics teacher here. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Nice. Okay. Balanced force is the absence of push and pull. Well, actually, that's close, but we won't go there right now. That's science. Okay. It's the balance of push and pull. Okay. How much force do you use to balance yourself while skating? Very nice. Okay. So the reason I ask my students to do these kinds of questions is because these sentences is because by the way they use the words, I can see whether or not they understand them. Okay. If they can produce a sentence that makes sense, then I'm like, okay, you have an idea, a good idea of what that word is. Okay. Great. So then we can also, there is another little activity we can do here. There's a question and answer activity at the bottom. We'll skip that one. But actually in the tool here, there's also a nice little activity, which is a crossword. So I quite like this one because it's a good way to go through some other sentences and look at the words, right? So let's try the crossword here really quickly. Number 3 across, only 3 letters. I don't like these skates because they my feet. I don't like these skates because they my feet. What word would go here? What do we think? Rub. Good. Okay, so let's put rub in. Nice. Okay, let's go to 1 down. Let's do this one here. Please don't me or I'll fall. Please don't me or I'll fall. Okay, push. Yeah, someone this morning said it could be pull, and they could be right, but we can check that by looking at number 6 here. So number 6, what's going to her? What's going to her? What's going to happen? Yeah, exactly, PPEM, right? And so this is a good one to, you know, the students are using the words in a different context. Again, they can understand how it works. Now, if you're in class, either digitally or on paper, you could give this crossword to every student and they can do it by themselves. We could do it in pairs. We could do it as a whole class. Lots of different ways we can do it. Nice little crossword activity, right? Cool. Okay, so moving on. I don't want to waste too much time. So let's jump on and take a look at the grammar. I'm going to skip over the song and go straight to the grammar. So we're looking at this kind of grammar today. Okay, and here it says comparatives. So what I want to do is switch screens. If I can find my whiteboard, here we go. Okay, and we're looking at comparatives. Okay, so for example, says here, the more you push the swing, the faster it goes. Faster is an adjective, fast, but it's comparative. And we know these, right? So fast goes with, sorry, my digital pen turned off. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Okay, so fast goes with, oh, I'm in blue, that's okay. Fast goes with faster. What about the superlative? We know this already, right? What will this one be? It'll be fastest, right? Exactly. Okay, John, you had a good question about making the crossword. Ask me at the end and I'll show you a place you can do that, right? Okay, next one, hard. What's the next one? Hard and harder, good, and hardest, right? Good. So we can go over these with the students, but we can also point out the strange ones. Like, so what about beautiful? Beautiful. What do we say for beautiful? More beautiful, right? Why don't we say beautifuler? Why do we say more beautiful and most beautiful? Yeah, because it's got 3 syllables, right? Okay. What about crazy? It's got 2 syllables. What do we do there? If it's got 2 syllables, we can say crazier, yeah, but we can also say more crazy, right? Sorry, my writing's a little funny. More crazy, right? Or we can say craziest. Okay, we can also say the most crazy. Okay, so, oh, chat box is in the road. There we go. More, the most crazy, right? So if it's got 1 syllable, then we E-R-E-S-T, we know that. 2 syllables, we can choose. 3 syllables, more and most, okay? Does that always work? Always, always, always? What do you think? It's a pretty good rule, right? It's pretty close, right? Some words are a little strange, like the word handsome, for example. Usually we would say more and most handsome. You can say handsomer and handsomest, but it seems a little clumsy, right? So yeah, there are a few exceptions, that's right. Okay, now, how are we using this in the grammar? So up here we have, the more this one skater pulls, okay, so one skater pulls more or pulls harder, then the more the other one spins. So what we've got is here, if I draw a line, here we've got a cause, and here we've got an effect. Okay, one thing happens first, and then the other one happens. Actually, the way you're looking at it is this way, isn't it? One happens and then the other happens, right? Okay, so the more one skater pulls, the more the other one spins. Okay, so then let's take a look at the second one. The more you push the swing, okay, the faster it goes. Which one happens first? We push, and which one happens second? Goes faster. Okay, cool. The more you practice, the faster you run. But also, the more you practice, I could say, what about this one? The better you get. Yeah, okay. The more you practice, the better you get. Okay. What about the more you practice, the faster you run, but maybe the tireder you get or the more tired you get? That's another one that's sometimes an exception. So yeah, so cause and effect, but we're using comparatives, right? What about if I do this one? Let's do another one here. Let's say I eat and I get fat. Which one happens first? Eat or get fat? Eat, okay. So let's put eat at the front here. I'll put it on the first line. Okay, so what could I say for this one? The more I eat, comma, what would come next? The more I eat, oh, there we go. The fatter I become or I get. Okay, let's use get, okay? The fatter I get. Easy word for students, right? The fatter I get. Is there another way I could write that? The more I eat, what's another way we could say that? Any other ways we could say it? Someone this morning said, the fatter I will get, which is okay, that's fine. Yeah, the bigger I get, yeah, okay. Could we say this? The more I eat, the more I will get fat. Does that sound okay? Not really, right? It's kind of like too many words, right? We can make it easier. We can just do that one. We can just do this. The more I eat, the fatter I get. Okay, so in the chat box, can you think of some like this? Can you think of some? Yeah, that's true, actually, Phoebe. I know I can see your comment, but the more I eat, the less hungry I get. That's true. Yeah, very good. What about some other ones we could do? So the more blah, 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 then something happens, right? What could we do? The more I eat, the fatter I become. Good, that's one. It's related to the words we had. What about different words? Not just eat and fat. What else could we say? Can you think of any more? What about using some of these adjectives at the bottom here? The more I practice, the more fluent I get. There's a nice one. The more I run, the stronger I become. The less you study, the more likely you will fail. Yeah, okay. The crazier I get, the more tired my companions become. Okay. The more I study, the more intelligent I get. Good. The more I dance, the better I will perform. Very nice. Great. These are good examples, right? The more you drink alcohol, the crazier you become. Okay, but this is for younger learners, so let's not talk about alcohol. That's fine. We're all adults here. The more I stay home, the crazier I get. I think there's a few people like that. Yeah. Okay, good one. Okay, so after having practiced this one, then what we can do is let's jump back and look at some of the activities in the book, okay? So if I go back to here, this one, the first one here you can see is just a matching activity. That one's not so difficult, but let's jump to number 3. So here they've given us some words to start us off, and they want us to put them into sentences, right? So they gave us she push on the swing and high she go, and it turned into the more she pushes on the swing, the higher she goes. Okay, that's cool, right? What about number 2 here? The skateboarder and push and fast he move forward. What could we do for this one? What could we do for this one? What could we say here? I'll try and write it in as we're going. So could we say the harder? Yeah, or yeah, that'll do. Let's use harder, right? Where's my eraser gone? Different tool when I do it this way. So the harder the skateboarder, I'll just say SB, pushes. Okay. The harder the skateboarder pushes, the faster. Oh, don't forget the comma, right? The faster he moves forward. Yeah. Good. That's a good example, right? Okay. Nice. What about the one at the bottom? What about number 5 down here? We practice, we win. How about that one? What do we think there? The more. The more what? The more we practice, good. Comma. Here we go. The more we practice, the more chances of winning. Okay, that could work. The more chances. You could say of winning, or you could just say to win, couldn't you? Right? That would also work. So we could use the continuous tense, or we could use the simple tense for that one, right? Okay. The higher chance we'll win. I like that one. The more we practice, the bigger chance to win. Yeah. The more we will win. Exactly. Yeah. So there's different ways we can say it, and none of those technically are wrong, right? Students could respond in different ways as long as they're using comparatives and it's a cause and effect, then they've got the idea of this grammar point. They don't have to specifically follow a pattern, right? Yeah, okay, nice. Okay, I'm going to clear all that off. And there's also, if we want more practice on these kinds of things, if I go to the workbook, then in the workbook, there are more ones that we can do here. match the sentence halves. So you should work hard in school because the harder you study, the more you learn. Could be number 1 and B goes together, right? For example. And then complete the sentences down here. This is like the one we just did, right? Except there's other versions of similar sentences for the students to practice. And also there's a grammar workbook, which is just more grammar practice as well. So again, here we go. The stronger the wind, the higher the kite will go. Completing the sentences. So this is open-ended, right? The more water a flower gets, the better it grows, maybe. And then write about what you do, okay? So you can see the difficulty level increases as we go through the different activities, which is good, right? Helps the students get better as we go. Okay, great. Okay, so let's jump back to here, okay? Just checking the time. Yeah, pretty good, okay? Let's jump ahead. We're gonna jump and look at the reading now. Okay, we're gonna skip over the middle pieces here. Now, let's see, in the picture here, what do you see? What is this big blue and orange thing here? And students might not know the word, but you do, right? A roller coaster, great. Okay. Do you like roller coasters? Do you like them? Do you like to go? Yes, says some people. No, says other people. Okay, so why do you like it or why don't you like it? What do you think? What do you think about it? Some people are yes, some makes you nauseous, makes you sick. Yeah, you want to try? Yeah, before lunch. Okay, not after lunch. I will vomit. Nice. I'm scared of heights. Yeah, me too. Okay. Afraid to fall down. Yep. Okay. Have extreme feelings. Yeah, very strong feelings when you want to try. It's like, oh, scary. It's not safe. Actually, it has to be safe because if it wasn't safe, people wouldn't do it, right? Yeah. Oh, you don't have it near you. That's a shame. You can't do it then. Okay. Very cool. But what shape is this? What shape is this here? Is that a square? What shape is this thing? Whoa, 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 I moved it around. So this is a circle, right? This is a circle, and they can go around a circle like this, right? Okay, so we're going to read about that, okay? But before we read, what I want you to do is I want you to look for some words in the reading, okay? Don't worry about reading it. I just want you to look for some words. So in here, can you look for the words that are kind of like science words? Remember, we're doing the science of fun. What science words do you think you see in here? Gravity, good, yes. Centripetal force, good. Inertia, ooh, there's a big one, right? Friction, pull down, yeah, okay. Force, yeah. Centripetal force, good. Any others? There's a couple more maybe. Down in the bottom paragraph, friction, there we go, someone got it. Speed, good. Brakes, maybe, yeah. Light, yeah. And there's another one, there's heavy in there somewhere as well. Okay, velocity, oh yeah, that's definitely a science word, right? Good. Acceleration, good. Yeah, there's lots of, is acceleration in here? I'm not sure. I don't think so, but that's okay. That is definitely a science word. Great. Okay, so this is a good way to like let the students quickly look through, but they're just looking for words, right? Okay, now in my class, I'd probably let my students try and read it, but before I do that, I'd probably help them with the pronunciation of some difficult words. So maybe they don't clearly know how to say roller coaster. We can practice that one. Another one might be gravity, just to pronounce it correctly, okay? Another one could be, as we come further down here, we've got centripetal force. That's a bit complicated, right? Centripetal, right? So we can go through the syllables, centripetal, okay? Make sure the students can say it. Also with the right intonation, right? It's centripetal, not centripetal, right? Centripetal, okay? Okay, and then this one, inertia, okay? Students will probably look at that and have no idea how to pronounce it, right? Inertia, because it ends in IA, so it's more complicated, right? And then what else do we have? Any others? Or maybe experience, right? That's a little more difficult. Okay, great. So then we can go through it and we can talk about it a little bit as we go, okay? So up, down, and all around. You are going on a roller coaster ride. Sit in the car and pull down the safety bar. Are you ready? Let's go. First, you go up a steep hill. The roller coaster goes slow. Next, gravity pulls you down the hill. The roller coaster moves fast. You feel very light. You feel very light. Does that mean when you go fast, you feel like, wah, light? Is that what that means? You feel very light. Is that what that means? Or is it something different? Oh, weightless. Yeah, okay. So this is a double meaning word. So sometimes we have to check the meaning, right? So you feel very light. Okay. So what is the opposite of light? Yeah, not heavy. Good, Teresa. You predicted me already. So light and heavy, right? Light and heavy. Those are the two antonyms, light and heavy. Okay. So you feel light. Okay. So when it goes fast, you feel light. Okay. So let's see. What about if you're in the car with your dad or your mom, right? And they drive fast, and then they go over a hill like that. They go over something, and you're like in the seat, and you're like, whoa, like that, right? You feel that before? That's feeling light. Okay, that's the light feeling when you kind of float a little bit, right? What about the heavy feeling? When do you get the heavy feeling? Like, oh, that kind of feeling. Well, that's the one. Remember the swing, and you go to the bottom of the swing. When you get to the bottom, you feel heavy. Okay, right? Or if your mom or dad drive the car fast on a hill that goes down and then up, you will feel heavy at the bottom. Okay, good. Okay. Going up the stairs, usually not unless you're going up them really fast. Okay, so yeah, okay, maybe not quite going up the stairs. Okay, let's take a look at the next one here. A big circle known as the loop is many people's favorite. When you go fast up the circle, you feel heavy. Yeah, that's at the bottom, right? Gravity is pulling you down. When you reach the top, you are high in the sky. You are hanging upside down. Yeah, here they're upside down, right? Yeah. So why don't you fall out of your seat? Your body wants to fly off, but the speed of the car and a force called centripetal force keep you moving in a circle and keep you in your seat. Oh, this is complicated, right? Oh, how are we going to talk about this one, right? Okay, so let's think. Is there something like this that's the same? So when they are at the top, why don't they fall out? Why don't they fall out at the top? Why don't they fall out? And the reason is because they are going fast. Okay, the speed of the car. Okay, I can show you with the mouse on my computer, but before I do it, I think, let me turn off my background. It's a pretty background, but if I turn it off, I think you can see more clearly. If my computer is going to hurry up here. Okay, let's turn it off. Here we go. So here I have the mouse of the computer, right? Okay, and gravity is on the mouse, right? Which way does gravity try to move the mouse? Does it try to make it go up or left or right or down? Which way? Wants to make it go down, right? Yeah, it wants to. So gravity is doing this one, right? Okay. What about when I put the mouse here like that? I'm holding it at the moment, but which way is gravity here? Is it still down? It's still down, right? So if I let it go, my mouse will fall. And that's like you on the roller coaster. If you're like that on the roller coaster and you're not moving, then you fall, right? Okay, but if I take my mouse, I have to move back a little, okay? And if I spin it like this, if I go round and round and round, okay, now when it's at the top, it doesn't fall. It goes round in a circle, right? Okay, but I have to go fast, okay? So what happens if I go too slow? Let's find out. So if I go too slow, okay, so around we go, and now I go slower. Oh, now I fall. So if I go too slow, I fall, right? Boom, right? Okay, it falls, okay? But if I go fast, then it doesn't fall. It just keeps going and going and going and going, right? So the faster I go, the safer I am. But the slower I go, the more likely to fall out, right? Yeah. So the speed matters, okay? If you go fast, you won't fall. Now let's think. I'm going to go back. Let's think. If I go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages, should he fall down? here, he's like this. Shouldn't he just fall off? Like this, he just goes, and falls off. Why not? Yeah, because he's going fast, right? He's got enough speed so he can go around the corner. And if he's going fast enough, he doesn't fall off. So the faster he goes, the safer he is. Okay, very good. So, but what happens if he goes too fast? If he goes too fast, then he will go this way. If he goes too fast, he doesn't go here. He goes, and flies off, right? Yeah, so he has to be careful. Okay, great. Okay, now there's a bit more in here. The roller coaster uses friction to stop. So remember friction, this one, okay? If it stops quickly, right, stops in a hurry, your body wants to keep moving, okay? So the roller coaster with you on it, it moves and it stops and you want to keep moving off the front, right? It's called inertia, okay? You want to keep moving, okay? But the safety bar keeps you in place, okay? So let's think, where else does something stop and you want to keep going? Something stops and you want to keep going. Where else does that happen? Is there another place where that happens? Yeah, you ride a bike, yeah, okay. And if the bike stops, then maybe you go, over the front. Yeah, that could happen. Trains or cars, yep, if things go crash, okay. Okay, then sometimes if you stop in a hurry, you're like, and you go forward, right? Okay, yeah, okay. Oh, the train or the bus, yeah, sometimes the buses are annoying. You're on the bus, you're standing up, and then the bus goes really fast, and you're like, or it stops very fast, and you're like, the other way. So, yeah, these things, our inertia makes us do something different to the bus or the car or the roller coaster, right? Yeah, so that's because the friction, the force, stops one thing, but there's no friction to stop me and I keep going, okay? Okay, or not enough friction and I keep going. Okay, now it says here, not everyone loves roller coasters. They make some people feel sick or dizzy because of the force, because the forces change, yeah, okay? In fact, we can experience forces like friction, centripetal force, and gravity every day. For example, we feel gravity when you jump with your bike and come down. Yeah, so you jump and you come down, okay? Gravity pulls you down. You feel centripetal force when you turn and friction when you use the brakes to stop the bike, right? So if you know your bike wheel, if this is the wheel of my bike, the tire, right? And then there's something on your bike that grabs the wheel, and then there's friction to make it stop, right? So that's one. What does it mean about centripetal force when you turn? What happens there? Centripetal force. So that's the force about something about circle, moving in a circle, right? So when you turn, you go in a circle, okay? But let's think, if you're straight up and down, like this is me on my bike and I'm straight up and down, and I try to turn a corner straight up and down, can I do that? Actually, no, I will fall off, right? Because when you go round the corner, what you need to do is you need to do this, right? And then you can go around the corner, okay? And you know, right? You ride your bike and you do that and you go around the corner, okay? And if we go back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's what this guy's doing, see? He's leaning and then he can go around the corner, right? Cool, yeah, we need an angle. That's right, there's another good English word. Great, okay. So lots of ways we can experience forces, right? Okay, so let's have a think over here. Let's think about our forces. We could do a lot of other questions here, but we've got this little table. Complete the chart, okay? I'll try and write in here as we go. So on a roller coaster, when do we experience gravity? Okay, so maybe we could say when we go down the hill, okay, down the slope. That's when we have gravity, right? What about on a bicycle? When do we feel gravity on the bicycle? When we feel gravity. Well, I think in the story it said when we jump the bicycle, right? Oh, jump, not jump. What am I doing? Jump. Jump the bicycle, right? Okay, while we're, that's not how you spell bicycle. What am I doing? B-I-C-Y-C-L-E. Okay, when you jump, right, you go up in the air and then gravity brings you down again. Okay, roller coaster, centripetal force. So that's about circles. When do we do circles on a roller coaster? Yeah, going around the loop, right? So around the loop, that's when we have centripetal force. What about on your bicycle? When do we have centripetal force on the bicycle? Yeah, turning, good. Yeah, we turn the corner. Oh, corner, okay, turn the corner and that's when we feel it. What about friction on a roller coaster? Friction on a roller coaster. When do we feel friction? Okay, yeah, maybe when we stop. Okay, that could work. Okay, what about on a bicycle? When do we feel friction? Yeah, we put on the brakes, that's friction. Okay, or maybe to stop your bike as well, maybe you put your feet on the ground. Okay, and then your feet are like on the ground, right? And that's friction as well, right? Okay, and then inertia. Okay, and that's maybe inertia is when you kind of like fly forward when the roller coaster stops, right? Or inertia, yeah, when you try to stop, maybe it's the same one for bike as well. You fly over the front of your bike. Okay, yeah, not so good, right? Okay, good. Okay, now there is, with all of the readings, there is always something interesting down here. Weird but true. Russians invented the roller coaster. They made the cars from ice and they put straw on the seats to keep the passengers warm. Did you know that? Did you know that Russians invented roller coasters? Now, if they're doing it, cars are made from ice. You'd like to see that. Well, actually, I can show you that, kind of, right? Because actually it's more than 200 years old, but let me see. I can give you some pictures and things. And we can talk about it a bit because I went online and I found this article here. Way before roller coasters, Russians zipped down enormous ice slides. These artificial mountains were fast, thrilling, and probably very dangerous, right? Now, this is an authentic article. It's straight from the internet. I haven't edited it at all, but we could still use this to help our students understand the idea with something that is like out there in the real world, right? So let's see, Russians zipped down. Zipped down, does that sound fast or slow? Zipped down. Yeah, I think that's pretty fast, right? And then enormous. Is that a big word or a very big word or a small word or what? Enormous. Very big, right? Yeah. So they had really big ice slides. So if you have the slide at the park, do you think the Russian enormous slide, is it a lot bigger? Probably a lot bigger, right? Okay. Artificial mountains, what's that? I don't know, let's take a look at a picture and see, okay? So if we come down here, here's a picture of the Russians doing their ice slide things. Wow, because the Russians are big too, maybe. True. Does this look crazy? That is pretty tall, right? That is pretty tall. And apparently it's ice, right? And you go sliding, whee, down there. Does that look dangerous? Does that look really dangerous? It looks kind of dangerous and scary to me. Yeah, they look like they're having fun. Like if we zoom in here a bit, let's zoom in. It's a bit hard to see their faces, but yep, they're zipping down. There's a lot of people here. They're all lining up to have a go, right? So it must be kind of fun, but it does look pretty dangerous, right? Here's another picture in color. Just zoom in a little bit, right? But it's the same thing, right? It's the same kind of picture, yeah? The big ice slides. So down the hill and long way along here, right? Okay, so let's look at a little bit of reading about this. Now, some of this is too hard, but that's okay. Riders clambered up a set of wooden stairs as high as 70 or 80 feet in the air. Wow, that's a long way up, right? 70 or 80 feet. So how many meters is that? That's about 25 meters. That's quite a long way up, right? How high is the building where you live, right? For some people, maybe that's like you're on maybe that's like the 7th floor or the 8th floor of your apartment building. Could be that high up, right? Yeah, okay. They got into sleds. They were a hollowed out block of ice stuffed with a bit of straw and a single rope to hold them in. Wow, okay. Doesn't sound very safe, does it? And then they plummeted down a 50-degree angle. Wow, that's pretty steep like this, right? Okay, now here's the important bit. So the rest of this is just to give them some flavor, but this sentence starting from here is the important one for me. The slides were watered each day to keep them slick and smooth, and sand was heaped onto the track at the bottom to slow the riders down. Okay, so let's take this stuff away and let's look at these important ones here, okay? Now, why did they water or put water on the slide every day? Why did they do that? Why did they do that? What do you think happens when they put water on there? To smooth the surface. So how does it make it slippery? How does it make it slippery? So if we go back up and look at the photo, here's all of our Russian friends. If you look at their clothes, what time of year do you think this is? Is this summer or winter? I think this is winter. So what happens if you put water out in the winter? Especially in Russia, it will freeze, it will turn to ice. So what they're doing is they're making ice, right? And the ice is very slick and smooth, and it will go very fast, right? So they have a block of ice sliding on slick and smooth ice. That is no friction. You will go very, very fast, okay? And then we put sand at the bottom. Why did we put sand at the bottom? Why did we put sand there? Yes, the stopper, right? It's more friction, okay? So I think we could say maybe the more water we use, the more ice we make and the faster we will go. But the more sand we use, the faster we will stop at the bottom, right? Okay, the more quickly we will stop, okay? So again, we can reinforce some of the grammar points as we're going through here, right? Now, do you think they still have these ones today? Do you think they still have these things today? What do you think? Yes or no? Maybe not so much? Bet you yes. Actually, they do, but they're a lot smaller. So this is an ice slide in Novosibirsk in Siberia. I'm butchering that pronunciation, but okay. But yeah, this is in Siberia. In the winter, you can see they have these little ice slides, but they're not so big. They're a lot safer, right? The people are just sliding down on their bottom, not so high, not so fast, right? Yeah, cool. Nice one. Okay, good job. So there we go. So this is a way we can engage the students in more content around this idea. Maybe they can read and talk about other pictures as well. Okay, but let's wrap up. Let's go back to our content here. We jump back to here. Let's zoom out. I want to look at one more thing quickly, and that's over here. It's the mission. Okay, the mission is when we can give students an idea about what an explorer does. And the missions are in our world, they're in levels 4, 5, and 6. They're in the higher levels. Okay, great. So if I go down the bottom here, here's an explorer. His name is Stefan Alexander. He is a theoretical physicist. Wow, he thinks really hard about lots of things. And he says when something unexpected or unusual happens, so when he gets a surprise or when it does something strange, okay, I am always curious to find out why. Oh, okay. So he wants to know why things happen. Okay, so let's go look up here. Why is this photo red and yellow and green and blue? What happened here? Why is the photo like that? Why do you think? Any ideas? Someone knows it's heat, right? Yeah, thermal, infrared, right? But then, the legs are red, the body is yellow. Which one is hotter? The red or the yellow? I think the red is hotter, right? Yeah. So why are the legs warmer? Why are the legs warmer? More blood because you're going faster, right? Moving your legs, right? So maybe we could, again, tie back to the grammar, right? We could say the more we move our legs, the warmer they get, and the warmer they are, the more red in the picture, right? Okay, so we can go back and tie it into the grammar a bit more as well, okay? But up here in the corner, we always have some questions to think about. Why is it important to understand how and why things work? Why is that important? In the chat box, what do you think? Why is that important? Why is it important to understand how and why things work? Yeah, so maybe otherwise we might do something wrong and get hurt. If something goes wrong, we can fix it if it's broken. Yeah, good, right? So we can understand if this is how it works, it should do this, right? And so I know if I do it, that will happen, right? But if it doesn't do that, I know it's broken. Oh, okay, so I can, yeah, someone says, John just said, we can respond to things correctly. We can appreciate what happens. Yeah, we can use it better. We can avoid wasting time. Good. Okay, now, second question, how can we learn more about how and why these things work? How can we do that? What should we do to learn more? Explore, exactly, just like this guy down the bottom. He explores, right? What else can we do? We can read, yeah, we can learn by reading, right? We can do good work in our science class or our history class, right? Because it's not just about technology, because it's about people as well. How and why do people do things that way? Sometimes we can learn from history too, right? Yeah, okay. And then here we can get the students to think of examples of things they would like to know better. So maybe they're like, why does a plane fly? How does it fly? Why doesn't it just fall, right? Or why you turn the wheel, the pedal on your bicycle one time, but the wheel goes around like 4 or 5 times. Why does that happen, right? And so we can teach students to think about these things and to experiment a bit, right? Cool, okay. So yeah, the mission, usually it's a lot of questions, but then at the top, you can see there's a routine. We have think, pair, share, okay? So for these questions, when the students can do it, sometimes it's good to let them think, then to talk with a friend so that they can maybe figure out if they're saying it the right way, they can try out how to say it. And then after that, maybe then as a whole class, we can share with everybody. This is a nice kind of safe way to go through some new ideas and think about how these things work, okay? Yeah, and as some people are saying, yeah, it's kind of sciencey, experimenting, experiential learning, trying to figure things out, right? And if students will naturally try to do that anyway, to an extent, but we can encourage it more by doing this as well, okay? Good one. Okay, well, we're gonna pause there because we are out of time. It is 7 o'clock. So let me jump back to my slide here quickly. And just want to say, just to wrap up, if you would like to know a bit more about what we did today, I'm going to launch the second poll, which is just if you want to find out more, tick yes to the poll, and I'll send you an email with some extra information about the program so that you can find out more, including a link to the demonstration online tool like I'm using there to present the class, and you can try it out for yourself and see how it works. Okay, nice job. But while you're doing that as well, just to make a couple of quick notes, tomorrow morning, I will send you the follow-up email, which will have the recording and the certificate that will come tomorrow morning. So keep an eye out for it. And as you can see in the picture here, we've got a lot of webinars happening over the next 3 or 4 weeks. There's about 7 or 8 different webinars going on. Do go to ngl-asia.com/webinars and you can check out the other webinars, see what's going on. Will and Kitty are doing webinars, and we've got some other authors and really good teachers doing webinars for us as well. So you'll get to see what they want to share with you too. Okay, great. Now, unfortunately, I can't stick around and answer a lot of questions today. I actually have to go and teach a class, right? So I do need to duck away, but do enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll look forward to seeing you again soon. Enjoy your weekend. If it's a long weekend for you, do enjoy it, but do stay safe. Obviously, we still have the pandemic to worry about. Keep safe, keep healthy, keep teaching your students, and keep having fun. Okay? Thanks very much, everybody. Talk to you soon.